In a nutshell, about literature with Joseph Pearcem.
Hello everyone, I am Jan Franczak and this is part 35 of In a Nutshell about literature with Joseph Pearcem. We are going to continue our conversation about Romeo and Juliet and dismantling and demolishing the popular notion of this beautiful play. Doesn't Romeo fall in love too quickly? He was mad about another girl just a little while ago, wasn't he? You also mentioned the other girl that appears in the play and which we actually don't meet on stage, yes? And this is Rosaline, if I pronounce it correctly. And you say that we know that it is not only a figment of imagination, of Romeo's imagination, but a woman of flesh and blood. So what does it tell us about Romeo's concept of love, his attitude to that other girl?
Yeah, the beautiful thing, by the way, about Shakespeare is how he can present to us an extremely powerful character. Rosaline actually is one of my favorite characters in the whole of Shakespeare, and we never see her. She doesn't say a single word. It's what we hear and learn about her basically from Romeo, and that makes her one of my favorite characters. By the way, as regards pronunciation, this is just go off on a slight tangent. We have a daughter whose name is Evangeline. And the various reasons for that, I won't go off on a long tangent about that. But one of the reasons she's mostly called that because she was good news. The Greek Evangeline just basically means good news. But we also love Longfellow's poem, which is Evangeline. So it's about a French woman, so it'd be Evangeline, right? Different pronunciations. But we know that Longfellow pronounced it Evangeline because of the way he uses rhyme in the poem. Same with Shakespeare. He pronounced it Rosaline because of the way that he uses the rhyme in the play. So anyway, so that's why I'm going to call her Rosaline or Rosaline or whatever other pronunciations we might have. But for me, so we see that what I love about her is that she's clearly, first of all, she has enough, first of all, common sense and Christian morality to want to get rid of this, I'm going to use the word, it's not a nice word, this jerk, right, in American English, this unpleasant character who's a stalker, who's giving her, basically stalking wherever she goes, making a nuisance of himself, doing everything he can to seduce her, including ultimately, offering her saint-seducing gold to ope her lap, right? I mean, he's not a nice man. I mean, we learn a lot about Romeo from what he says about Rosaline. This is amazing. But Rosaline says that she has a religious vocation. She's taken a vow of chastity. All right. And I love that because, we can either assume that she's being honest, which means that she's a good, holy woman who's going to become a nun or something, and gets rid of this unwanted attention of this lecherous stalker. Or she's not being honest. She's coming up with a story in order to get rid of him. And in some ways, that makes her feisty, gives her some sort of meaty personality that I like. In some ways, I almost prefer the feisty Rosaline who doesn't really have the vow of chastity, but just wants to get rid of this idiot, right? And coming up with whatever story is necessary to get rid of him. And we learn all this about her from what? The only witness we have is Romeo himself, if you like, is telling us an awful lot, not just about her, but about himself in what he says about her.
And also some other characters in the play mention her, yes. Friar Lawrence also talks about her.
But only in relation to the fact that Romeo was completely besotted with her. I mean, not,
Yes.
not in any other sense. I mean, we know nothing about Rosaline except for that Romeo was completely and utterly obsessed with her. That's all we know about her from any other character. So the real substance that we know about her is from Romeo's words, which condemn him and make her very likable, one way or the other.
But it seems it says a lot about his attitude to love too, because quite quickly he forgets about her. Yes, he forgets that girl. That there is a particular line when Friar Lawrence mentions that even the tears on his cheeks didn't dry properly. Yes, and suddenly he wants to marry another girl.
Yeah. So this woman, that he's saying that basically that she's brighter than the sun. There's nothing more beautiful in the whole cosmos than Rosaline. All of a sudden, who's Rosaline? She's completely eclipsed by this new person who's quite bright as the sun. Who, by the way, he falls completely in love with and completely eclipses Rosaline before he's even spoken to her. So before he even knows her name. So he has no idea of who she is, not just her name, but her personality. So it's purely on physical looks. It can't be on anything else because that's all he knows. And immediately upon seeing this beautiful physical beauty, right, he is completely and utterly besotted and drunk and addicted and comes out with all this eloquent Petrarchan sonnet type language to express his love for her. And so obviously this is not love in any meaningful sense. It's not the love that leads to a happy marriage. It's not the love that leads to heaven. It's the love that might lead to an adulterous relationship very quickly or to fornication. But it isn't love in any meaningful sense.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't seen the previous episodes yet, please check the In a Nutshell About Literature playlist. You can watch them individually or as 5 longer compilation videos. And please remember, you can support the development of this channel in several ways. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Like this video and leave a comment. Share the video by copying the link and posting it on our social media. Support us financially by buying me a virtual cup of coffee or making a donation. Please check the options below the video, where you will find links to 2 services, including Buy Coffee 2 and Zrzutka. Thank you once again, and see you in the next episodes of In a Nutshell About Literature with Joseph Pearcem. God bless you.